Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 2 of the Play It Again Sports Jonesboro Open, presented by Prodigy Disc. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb, and we are two hot geese.
Honk. Thank you guys for tuning in yesterday. Today we have an all different lead card: Catrina Allen, Paige Pierce, Sarah Hokom, and a new guy on the lead card, Macie Walker. She's from East Tennessee, and she came in with a flaming hot first round at 994, 7 down.
Yeah, Macie and Paige looked like they were kind of going to take the lead, but then Kat came screaming up with that 8 down, 1004 rated. Let's kick it off with hole 1. It's a par 3. It's the short basket in this drone flight. There is no out of bounds. Really, it's downhill. It's very reachable. Everybody's looking to start off with a birdie. We got a nice gallery clapping for everybody. It's a very cool atmosphere on hole 1.
Yeah, the bandstands were absolutely packed today. It was a Saturday, so it was nice to see everyone out there supporting. And again, it's a nice change. We've had a bunch of Phase 1 events. So it's nice to be in Phase 2 and, really bring back the old feels of hole 1 at disc golf tournaments. Catrina really putting it out wide here. There's a left to right sloping downhill that kind of always wants to pull your disc to the right. There was a little bit of a crosswind as well today, but looks like it battled through, and she'll be right around the edge of circle 1.
Paige with a Zeus here, trying not to throw it past the first basket to the second basket. Oh, some wind action.
Yeah, I believe the crosswind when I teed off was right to left, so it's definitely a lot windier on the course today.
Yeah, yesterday we saw those calm conditions. Today we'll definitely see some wind troubles. That was a perfect drive from Paige, though. Hokom outfit on point.
Dude. She's looking tan. She's looking like she's spending some time outside. She's glowing.
This is a trace from Sarah.
Wind plays with that disc a little bit as well. She'll be in circle 2.
I don't think she quite got enough turn on it
Rounding
as
out
well,
our
but
3:30 tee time from Tennessee, Macie Walker.
I haven't seen Macie play at all, so this should be a fun watch. She's sponsored by Dynamic Discs.
Yeah, I saw her name pop up on leaderboards last year. I'm not the only M Walker in the game anymore. I'm definitely not the best either. Oh, no.
Oh, tournament arm. She yanks it to the right. There isn't out of bounds over there. It's just kind of
Natural.
Yeah.
She won't have a look at the basket.
She'll have to throw kind of a tricky Anheuser forehand. But,
Oh, no.
It looked like the perfect line.
Even though Erika talked about how this is a very reachable par 1, there's still only 20% of the field getting a birdie, higher than yesterday. I think yesterday there was only 2 birdies in the whole field. Maybe the wind helped a few people get all the way there.
I mean, it's just also nice to play the same course 3 times.
That's true.
You can correct your errors and sometimes make fun new ones. That was a good bid from Hokom.
Three's not bad on hole 1, but it doesn't feel great when you're inside the circle.
I think she was like 1 inch outside. Macie for her 4.
Oh, no. Maybe a little hole 1 nerves.
Lead card nerves.
I wonder, has she been on many filmed cards?
I mean, I've never seen her, but that doesn't mean she hasn't.
Yeah. If she has, it's been few and far between. She's probably still learning. I think she's a little younger as well. So maybe some lead card jitters. Hopefully she can shake those off.
Rough start, but I don't know. Anytime I start with a big number, it's like, well, don't need to be nervous. You already did it. Like, you already did the thing you were dreading, so you move on now.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, like, you're alive. You're fine.
Hole 2 is a 605-foot par 4. I love this hole so much. You have to get through this tight wooded gap, throwing a hyzer shot that doesn't carry too far forward and doesn't hyzer too early, so you don't contend with these bushes on the left and right. Then there's a steep hill where the basket is kind of blind on your second shot with also a low ceiling. And you want to get all the way back here to the green. There's a little bit out of bounds, deep and left of the basket with a fence. But other than that, no out of bounds on the hole.
I would say this is like a classic Jonesboro hole. Like, it's birdieable with two really, truly excellent shots. And the par's not that hard, but you can also clip early or push too straight and find a bogey or double bogey really quickly. So it's all there, you know, for the taking. And Paige pushes too far straight. We said yesterday, you kind of want to, it feels like you're sawing it off to land in the perfect landing zone. It's really, you throw a straight shot, and that's not what you want. You want to see it disappear to the left off this tee.
Yeah, you want it to be hyzering the whole way almost. Like, even that's pushing pretty far straight. Oh, I'm wrong.
And it's perfect.
It's perfect.
And she's past that 250-foot stake, so maybe like 210 to the pin. It'll probably still be blind, but hopefully easy approach for the bird.
She's so far up the hill, she might actually be able to see it.
Yeah, curious.
Hokom with a very technical sidearm. Gets it to flip a little, but it's a controlled enough distance where she's not messing with those bushes deep.
Yeah, she'll have an opportunity to get up to the green.
I love watching her throw those super shapely sidearms.
All the curves. That was Macie with a defender, and that's a really solid shot. Anything right around that stake you're happy with. This is a photon, and she just shapes that baby perfectly. Paige in jail.
Surrounded by poison ivy.
Yeah, don't fall. Oh man.
No.
Okay, wash your hands.
She definitely gets poison ivy too.
Poison ivy.
Hopefully. She's got some baby wipes.
We'll see
in
tomorrow.
the cart. Yeah.
Man, she couldn't do much from there.
So the basket is to the right of this big tree and probably about 40 feet behind it, maybe 50 feet behind it. Macie finding circle 1.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Cat not able to see it.
Not able to see.
Just a couple more feet and she could have. Yeah, it really messes with your distance. It's I think it's pretty easy to like short it or be too far to the right.
Definitely. I feel like that's the most common error is shorting it. So this is a really perfect women's hole too. It's 30% below par, 50% at par, and 20% over par. So, I mean, that is almost as perfect as you can get it for women's scoring separation.
Paige laying it up with a fierce there. Cat for birdie. Dang, too low hole 1, too high hole 2. She'll get the next one.
Yep, dead center.
So Sarah push putts with ions inside the circle, but we'll see. I think she probably did it last hole, actually. She spin putts with a spin outside the circle. So kind of neat that she switches techniques and putters. That was a great putt for her birdie.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of players that do switch their putter out. Maybe someone has like a flippier of their exact same putter that they use for long putts.
Well, I think it's because she switches her
The type
form
of putt.
from a push to a spin. Like, they're going to react very differently when you start spinning the disc.
Totally. Nice bounce back from Macie. Excellent birdie after the struggles on hole 1.
Paige having to settle for the par.
After shooting 7 down here yesterday, I'm excited to watch Macie. I mean, 7 down is, that's a great score. That's excellent. That's in my dreams.
Plus, she's just playing with the icons of our sport. You know, Paige and Kat and Hokom. Like, she's playing with the 3 staples, and it'll be cool to see how she keeps up. Hole 3, it's just a 310-foot straight or maybe hyzer if you have the power. It plays a little farther than that because it's uphill. There is OB on the left. It's a barbed wire fence, so if you go OB or you're close, you get 2 meters of relief. All these ladies should be able to reach it and hopefully have a birdie look.
There was kind of a weird wind on that sloping, left to right down sloping fairway. Right when you got about halfway, the wind had a tendency to play with your disc a little bit when my card went through. We'll see if they have to contend with the same conditions.
Hokom looks right about circle's edge. That shapely disc you like is that trace that she's throwing.
It's so fun to watch.
Yeah, it really
It
has
moves
a lot of...
so fluidly.
Oh my God. I hope you're all as uncomfortable as I am talking about and listening to this. That was a really good shot from Macie. That was her defender again. I think this might be Paige's Undertaker. Or actually, wait.
I think the Undertaker's green.
Raptor, Z-Raptor, if that makes more sense.
Makes a lot more sense. Oh no.
So she looks like she's inbounds, and she will get that relief towards the basket, which is kind of cool.
Even though it's 310 feet, I feel like this is kind of a crush. The uphill really does play more than you would think. Like, it doesn't necessarily look uphill from the tee pad, but then you get out there and throw it, and you're like, wow, I'm 50 feet short.
Yeah, not Cat. That was an X1 a couple feet long. But yeah, I think being a little short is common.
Sarah from just outside the circle puts it a little nose down. Paige looking like she's also right around circle's edge.
Oh, really nice straddle putt.
Yeah, the straddle putt's looking solid.
Let's see that one more time.
Our first slow-mo of the day.
That's cool with the burst. Watching it fly.
Yeah. There was a very intense discussion about which one of Paige's putters is prettier on the practice screen this morning. Solid putt from Catrina. Found the center just like we predicted, using science. Very complicated.
Algorithms.
Macie doing just what we expect, putting herself in position, not quite capitalizing, finding that band, the worst sound in disc golf.
Yep, she'll have to do almost the exact same putt.
I feel like you can tell a lot about the mental state of a disc golfer when you get that kind of little roll, even though it's just a short one, but she gets a roll away, she still resets exactly the way she did on the putt before, rolls her shoulders back and takes a deep breath and is ready for the next shot.
Yeah, definitely.
Hole 4 is another par 4 at 630 feet, another one of my favorite holes. You off the tee, you want to avoid this low-hanging branch and try to land somewhere around this 500-foot or 250-foot stake right here. You also might see some hyzers from this card around the big trees on the right. There's out of bounds left all the way down the left-hand side that pinches towards the elevated basket. There's also OB deep. There's a little pocket of OB back on the right that comes into play on the drive, but I don't think we will see any of the women messing with that on this card.
Okay, this disc is green, so it's got to be her Undertaker. And just a little high, but she sneaks past that branch, and this is really good distance.
Wow.
According to Bushnell, it is 440 feet, to be
Excellent.
precise.
I mean, it's a little bit downhill, but
dang.
But dang. That is not the reason it went 440. Catrina keeps it low just like you're supposed to. Works the skip a little.
And she's doing that X1 again, just trying to make sure she hits the gap and is in a decent spot for her second shot.
This is definitely a tough sidearm. It's really easy to flip it over because you're trying to not hit the left to right downsloping hill and get a big skip over behind those trees. You want it to land soft. So you can see Sarah tried to adjust for that and flipped it over. Also, those bushes are telling me it's a little bit of a headwind here as well.
Yeah, she at least got past the initial gap and hopefully has a a decent, unencumbered run up for her next shot. And that was beautiful from Macie.
Yeah, she gets way down there.
Defender again. Apparently she throws that a lot.
It's a good disc. It goes far.
Is that trace again? Look at those shapes. Circle 2 looks like.
The second shot's a little bit uphill, so it definitely plays a little bit farther than the 250-foot stake would depict.
Catrina's going mid here. M2 flips it way over. That'll be inbounds, just
Not
annoying.
Yeah. Macie can definitely get up and down from here. I'm surprised to say that this played as the second most difficult hole on the course in the field.
I think it's because... Oh, that was really good. That was a felon. I think it's because the OB on the green is pretty tight, and you try to get up there for the birdie and then you skip OB and maybe end up getting a bogey. I don't know. And there is trouble off the tee. Like you said, it was a pretty good headwind.
Yeah.
And
over 50% of the field got a bogey or worse.
wow.
I know, that's surprising. And there's only 2 birdies on the day. So, very surprising, in my opinion. But yeah, that pinching OB is scary. Especially when you're forced to throw an overstable disc in the wind, like you said.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is that spin putt with the spin.
No problem.
Good par. And Macie, about maybe almost 25 feet. She putts with Wardens.
Looking for her birdie.
Beautiful.
Finds it. She's getting warm, folks.
Yeah, successfully erased that hole 1 error. She's right back where she started. Only 4 holes in.
Paige also finds a birdie.
So she's now taking the lead from Catrina. This one's for par. No problem.
The first elevated basket of the round's always a little scary, especially when there's OB so close. But these ladies are making it look easy. And the only 2 birdies of the day were on the lead card.
Our warehouse manager, Dylan, is on vacation this week, so we decided to bring Heather in to keep things running at a high level. She's already had a huge impact on our crew, and overall, they've embraced the changes surprisingly well. We're really happy with how Heather is doing in this new leadership role.
Hole 5 is a par 3, 345 feet. There's OB along these white stakes the entire way. There's also just a decision to make whether you want to lay up short or try to make the green, which is almost an island. If you go OB off your drive, you do have to take it from a drop zone, not where it went out. So, I bet Paige will go post bog here in that little gap.
Yeah, we're definitely back in bogland. Everything's pretty wet. We had a lot of rain this week.
Yeah, she clears that bog just thoroughly. She is long. Circle too deep.
She takes all the troubles out of the equation. She will have kind of a death putt back towards the bog.
This one's like a mini bog. Is there a word for that? Macie going for it.
There's got to be a word. Wow.
That was awesome.
What a great shot.
That was an enforcer this time.
Smart move disking up. There was definitely a bit of a headwind on this fairway, which makes for a scary approach to the green with all that water on the right side. But you can see these ladies disking up to something overstable.
Yeah, that was a D2 thrown beautifully from Cat. Let's see if Hokom goes for it.
I wish there was a stat on how many people went for this green in
Yeah.
the field. That would be so interesting.
That was a pyro. She's going pre-bog.
Yep. Smart move, opting for the layup. This is not a forehand friendly distance shot with that lone tree in the middle of the bog. On the left-hand side of the fairway. But an easy 3 is not bad here at
that was a
Jonesboro.
Perfect little up shot. Paige, death putt. You know she's running it.
You can see on the stats that this hole is very weird. 37% of the field below or with a birdie and 40% with a bogey or worse. So there's a lot of people out here running it. Macie capitalizing on her decision to go for it.
Yeah, she's 1 down for the round now. Really nice back-to-back birdies.
Saving the par.
She always makes the comebackers look so easy.
It doesn't even take any time.
Yeah.
Super comfy.
All right, another tie at the top.
Looks like we might see a lot of that today. Sarah and Macie only 2 strokes back. This is exciting.
Uh-huh.
Hole 6 is a par 3. It's downhill, 315 feet. There's a lot of water here, obviously. It's an island hole. It's out of bounds all around the island. There's an OB line about a foot off the edge, or a couple feet off the edge of the water, so you can't land right on the edge. You have to get it well onto the green. There's a drop zone on this side of the water if you do land anywhere out of bounds, regardless of whether you cross. There was a little bit of a wind here. I think it was a left to right crosswind, if I remember correctly. Macie opting for the sidearm. I love this play. I think it's the smartest play if you've got the distance.
Which she does.
She sure does.
Yeah, I think it's also the ideal play. On the right side, it's really easy to maybe flip it too straight and land, or, you know, hit that tree or some of its branches on the right. And it just feels pinched with, you know, all those trees right off the right. This is a beautiful shot. It's an M2. Really nice.
I love the mid-range play here. I think that's the smartest play, especially if you have a nice overstable or stable mid that you can trust to not falter in the wind.
I think this is...
Uh-oh. It's out of
I'm not
bounds.
sure what this is besides out of bounds. Maybe a buzz or even...
It looked like it might have been a putter, the way it
been
flew.
a fierce, yeah. Regardless, Paige will have to take it from the drop zone. This is an eclipse. Thrown a little straight, but hopefully it hyzers. And yeah,
really
right.
trusting that stability, pushing the limits. It is smart to keep it low on this island green, though. You do not want to air it. The wind will definitely take control down there.
This is definitely a fierce, and she'll have no problem with that bogey. This hole played interesting yesterday. It was 50% twos and 50% fours, so it averaged exactly 3 without an actual 3 on the entire hole. Well, how did it pan out today, Mad?
There's a 25% of the people in the field getting 3s, so a little bit more missed putts out here, or maybe a lot more out of bounds. But still pretty heavy in the below par and above par category.
Yeah, Macie with one of those below pars. 3 in a row.
I think I'm going to start calling birdies below pars.
Yeah, you know,
Makes a lot more sense.
the old below pars.
Another birdie for Catrina. Paige taking her time on this shorty. Wants to make sure she capitalizes on the bogey, stops the bleeding.
Man, so much movement on the scorecard. It's crazy. Lead card doing some interesting stuff. Hole 7 is a par 4. It is a pretty short one at 545 feet. It is uphill the whole way. The play is to land left of this big fairway tree on the right, and then leave yourself for ideally a forehand approach if you have the forehand, which all these ladies do. You can throw a backhand anhyzer. There is like a fence near all those trees on that short side of the green. So if you throw a backhand, a backhand on your second shot, it often gets caught up and leaves you with a really tricky putt.
Macie working the skip in the thick fairway grass. This is a hole I feel like would be so fun to throw a roller on, but this grass is so thick. I wonder if we'll see any rollers from Catrina out here. I know last year at the end of the season, she was throwing a bunch of rollers.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, though. There's a lot of thick grass. I mean, the fairways are pretty groomed, but I don't know, you could find some trouble. Macie and Kat with some good drives. Kat's way up there.
I don't know if you guys can tell from the camera angle, but it is definitely steeply uphill. Makes it hard to get a lot of distance because you want to get as the most you possibly can to make your shot to the green a little bit easier. Hokom finding that fairway tree that Erika discussed in the whole overview, it will definitely make the second shot a lot more difficult.
She'll have a hard time trying to get any kind of birdie look from there.
It's a pretty thick tree, and there's also a lot of undergrowth under there, so it even makes straddling out and trying to throw a sidearm tough.
And Paige throwing a great drive as well. So 3 really good shots. Hokom with a little bit of trouble. Let's see her shape this trace into the green.
Wow. That's why she's on lead card, folks.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. 242 feet, according to Bushnell, for the upshot for Macie here. She's throwing a forehand.
Also finds the green.
Mm-hmm. Paige going backhand. She's a little bit of a straighter shot though, because she's so far up there.
This played as the easiest hole of the day for the FPO field.
Oh.
I'm surprised by that. About 50% below par and 50% at par. No bogeys.
Cool.
Everyone's got this hole dialed after their practice rounds.
Especially Catrina. Marks it.
All while Austin Hooper said, "That's 5."
Wind really showing itself on the screen. You can see the branches moving around.
Just a bit short.
Kind of a low ceiling putt from that side of the green. There's some low hanging branches.
Macie to go 4 in a row. So many under pars.
Boom.
Wow. So I guess she's keeping up, huh?
Yeah. We can see how she shot 7 down yesterday. Putting on a show again today. Again, lead card having a bunch of movement. Everyone staying close. And we move on to hole 8. It's a par 3. It looks like it's downhill off the tee pad, but there's another hill on the second half of the fairway that goes sharply back uphill. I would say it plays about flat 324. It's a tough shot, though. There's all those bushes on the right-hand side blocking this elevated basket. You cannot see it from the tee pad. The play here is a distance sidearm. I think that's the easiest way, the easiest shot shape to get to the pin. It's a very technical backhand, especially we had a pretty strong headwind on the hole for the day. You want to do like a late flip turn, because if it turns early and you get in those bushes, it's pretty much jail over there. Although it is a lot more cleared out than it has been in years past.
Yeah, it's still jail, but a little less punishing. Macie throws an enforcer, and that really displays her power. She didn't even have to throw a force flex or anything to get there. She just throws it straight and lets it hyzer out into the circle. Kat showing why the backhand is so difficult to just get that angle right. So hopefully she'll have a little line to the pin and just have an easy par, but we'll see. Paige also going backhand. If you're throwing the backhand, you are trying to throw it straight and then get that late flip.
Paige with her power might be able to just put it out wide and let the disc come back. She definitely late releases it, finds the same area that Catrina just did. But yeah, she might be able to just put it way out wide and just let the disc fall instead of having to rely on that late flip.
Yeah, I don't know. When the pin is on the right, it's just really easy to accidentally turn it too far.
Yeah, your brain is like, I'm going to the basket, regardless of what's in the way.
Hokom and Macie showing us how it's done with those forehands. They're both inside the circle. Oh, Kat was farther out than I thought. Her and Paige having an easy time getting their pars.
Only 7% of the field with a birdie.
Not surprising.
That's only 2 on the day, folks.
Ah, dang, Macie's not one of them.
One more opportunity.
No.
Yeah. Congrats to Christina Linthicum, and I was stoked to get this birdie as well. That was like a weekend maker for me.
Did you throw a backhand?
I did.
Nice.
Looks like the lead card's going to take their pars and move on to hole 9 to finish out the first half of the course.
This one is our first par 5 of the day, 715 feet. Through a tight gap, you're trying to land anywhere in this section before this tree on the right. You're throwing pretty sharply uphill and then, a pretty intense angle to the left, almost 90 degrees, down to this pin, which is on a downslope, and there is trouble behind it. So you don't want to overpower that second or third shot as you're trying to get down to the green. It's definitely very fourable if you throw...
Not that drive.
Yeah, if you throw a couple of good shots, Macie will be playing really just for the 5 unless she does something incredible.
There was a little bit of a crosswind or maybe a headwind after you get through the gap. You couldn't feel it from the tee pad, but there was definitely playing with discs once you made it through the initial gap. I think Macie may have grip locked it a little bit, but that wind definitely did not help.
That is a D2 thrown really well on that hyzer flip angle, 340 feet. She's definitely going for the 4.
Paige is looking to bite off a lot on this fairway, I'm guessing. She's always in the hunt for an eagle. Let's see what she does. Gets a little flippy at the end. That wind grabs onto it. But she gets past that fairway tree that's going to really open up the angle to the green.
Yeah, it's not a bad play. I wonder...
She may not even have to throw a hyzer. It may be more of a straight shot or even a fade to the right or a forehand shot.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody over there. Though I was there in practice, and it's really not bad. Hokom probably not turning it as much as she wants. As long as she's to the right enough of this tree, it shouldn't be bad, but...
It's not where you want to be.
Yeah, she'll definitely have that tree to contend with.
She'll have to settle for a 4 at best at this point, which is still a birdie.
Still a birdie, yeah, but... Macie with some branches right in her face, but she throws a really good, nice low skip shot forehand.
It's going to be really tough to approach the green from there, at least to get close enough to get a putt.
Hokom, backhand. She's really developed her backhand this year. She's thrown a lot more of them.
Yeah, and not just chip backhands anymore either. She's getting some true distance. I think I saw the event that she just won at a couple weeks ago. She threw like a 350-foot backhand.
Dang.
340 foot for the birdie.
Kat, I'm sure hungry for the 3 here. Or playing it for a 4. It looks farther. First. But she should have a really short approach for her birdie. Paige, probably hungry for the 3 here.
Can't tell. Look, is she holding a mid-range?
I'm not sure.
No, it's a driver.
It's I wonder if it's another Zeus even.
Right outside circle 2, giving herself a long putt, but definitely a death putt at that. Macie trying to get around this corner, give herself a look at approaching. Oh, she pushes deep, and she's actually inside circle 2. I thought that was not possible from the angle she was.
Yeah, she threw a felon and definitely was using that skip to get as far as she could towards the pin. Hokom with a testy little 222-foot upshot.
On a sloping downhill green.
Gonna give her an A-.
Still a little bit of a tester putt. Catrina giving a soft bid / probably just a layup. She's not messing around with this green.
The green messed with her a little bit with that roll, but she's still 20 feet. Paige just laying up. There's a lot of trouble behind the pin, so smart play.
With a higher par on this hole,
Oh.
the FPO field fared well. It's one of the easier holes on the course. 33% of the field getting a birdie.
That was good discipline from Macie, just taking her par and moving on, not trying to do anything crazy. Hokom having to settle for the par as well. Ooh, squeaks it in.
You see with a little bit of a death putt, but it's a shorty. And we know she's confident on the putting green. Paige settling for her birdie.
Only Paige would settle for a birdie, I feel like.
And that about wraps up the front nine.
Yeah, all our lead card ladies under par, a lot of green to start. The front nine is definitely the easier nine, so you kind of want to attack. Hokom having just the one birdie. I'm sure she's looking to get more on the back nine. Let's see if we can check in
With the leaderboard.
here. Boop, there it is. So Kona having a good round so far, 2 under. Christina 1 under. Everybody else trying to make things happen, but not quite doing it yet.
Yeah, our lead card is definitely holding on and kind of pulling away from the rest of the field.
Definitely pulling away from the rest of the field.
Making that win work to their advantage.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us on the front nine. Please come watch the back as well. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
And I'm Madison Walker. We're the two Hawkeys.
Honk.